Friends, spirituality is like a game of baseball. And I say this as a Mets fan who is suffering tremendously right now and is turning to spirituality to try to ease the pain. So think about it this way. You start at home plate. And home plate is your normal life. That's your friends, your family, your environment, your liver issues. Getting very personal right now. I hope I don't have liver issues. I guess we'll see. But it's everything that you know is your life. That's home plate. But then something happens. You have a near-death experience. You have an awakening. You get bashed in the head by a rock walking down the street. You hate when that happens. You really hate it. And then you set out on your spiritual quest, like the baseball player who makes it all the way to first base. You get hit by a pitch, you walk, you get a single, whatever it is, you get to first base. You begin your spiritual journey. On first base, you're going to have your introduction to spirituality. Now, this could be a YouTube video you watch. This could be some guru that you find on Instagram. This could be some article you stumble upon. Does anybody even do that anymore? Really? Is that even a thing? And then you advance on your journey. Like that's your first stop. You learn some basic concepts. You learn about reincarnation. You learn about soul contracts. You learn about life reviews, all that good stuff. Then you move along to second. And then at second, you find yourself kind of stranded. Now, there's no base coach out there to guide you. You're kind of on your own out there. You're in the middle of the diamond. You have the outfield over here, the infield over here. The pitcher is looking at ways to pick you off, and the catcher's looking at ways to pick you off, and a first baseman, third baseman, they're all finding ways to try to get you. This can be a very lonely phase in the spiritual journey, and this is usually the dark night of the soul. This is where you have nowhere to go, you have no one to talk to, you're totally lost. Cool, good times. Now you find your way over to third. Let's say you steal third base, you make it out of the dark night of the soul. Congratulations. Now you get to third. Now, the third base coach is somebody who tends to be a more evolved guru. Now, the evolved guru is not going to look like the guru at first base. The guru at first base, your first base coach, this is the person that wears the robes, and this is the person that goes on all the retreats, and this is the person who's probably one of those cult leaders, retreat leaders. And they have this idea of you're going to be one of us now, and you're going to be part of this now. You're a base runner. You're no longer a batter. You're a base runner now. You're evolved. You're spiritual. You're advanced. When you finally get to third base, you tend to find a third base coach is a guy who's been around for a little bit. Maybe he's got a piece of pastrami hanging out of his mouth and his gut is just kind of hanging over to the belt and he's just kind of chilling out. And I just stole that entire thing from Major League 2. No shame. And what this guy is doing here, your third base coach, this is your more advanced spiritual guide. And when I say advanced, I'm not talking about the person, again, who's taken all the psychedelics and going all the retreats. This is the person who's been around the bases. This is the person who's a little closer to the folks you remember in the dugout. This is the person who's reacquainting you back with life as you're coming all the way home. This is somebody who's saying, no, spirituality is not about all the stuff you're seeing at first base, and it's not about the dark night you saw at second base. It's about finding your way home to who you truly are, to who you've always been. Because this entire journey is about me waving you in back home. I'm not waving you back to the first baseman. I'm not waving you to that retreat in Bali. I'm not waving you to that music festival where you're going to take so many drugs you start ironing a shirt while dancing. That's awesome. I'm waving you home because home is where you belong. And then you finally get back home and everybody's waiting for you and they're jumping up and down and they're welcoming you back. And then the crazy thing is you've had this whole experience. You've been around the baseball diamond. And where did it lead you? Home. Right back to where you started. You look around, your friends, your family, it's like, I recognize all this and I'm back here, and yet I'm not the same person I was when I left. I saw and experienced so much on those bases. I got to see the field. I got to see the whole thing. I now have a different approach next time I come up to the plate. I am now a different person you're talking to in the dugout. I'm now interacting with fans differently. I'm throwing them a ball and they're throwing me a hot dog. Hopefully I catch it because, ground hot dogs, they are what they are. But you're entirely changed by the time you get home. And that's really how spirituality is the journey around the baseball diamond. I'm curious where you are in the journey right now. Drop it in the comments.